Right, we're in. I'm in Elgin with one of my favourite people, definitely my favourite witch, and it is. So actually, no, I shouldn't say that because I'll upset
You have to
some
say
of
that.
some of my other favourite witches. Uh, so it's Samhain. It's Halloween, known as Halloween the world over. It's All Saints Day and Day of the Dead stuff all over the place as well. Sophie Bonadea.
Hello.
Lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you.
So we're going to get a song from Sophie, but I want to delve into this coven thing that you've built over the last 2 or 3 years.
I was going to say, when you said your favourite witch and that you know others, there's a big community of us out there, and there's definitely a lot of attention on me and my work at the minute because made the front page last weekend.
We should have had that out.
Last
weekend in the
here's one I prepared earlier. Made the front page, reclaiming the word witch and what it means to be a witchy woman, because I am the head witch of a community group for women. It's called the Witchy Women's Institute.
Yeah.
And we've got over 500, close to 600 members now, and they're all across Moray, Scotland, but actually beyond, out into the world. So really, witch, we're talking about reclaiming it and rebranding it, but actually it's what it's always been, and that's being a woman, being valued for your intuition and your magic rather than what we kind of value women for today.
Yeah, and it's all about nature and everything as well, out with the womanly thing. Excuse me. So how do you have to get a certificate to say that you're a witch? Is there an apprenticeship?
So this is actually what I remind the women that I work with, because I work in tons of different ways. So we've got the Witchy Women's Institute, which is really kind of like a hub, a focus point for my work. But I do one-to-one sessions, and I have an online membership, the Moonphase Journey Sisterhood. And, one of the things that I always remind them is that you don't need to study this. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to get a certificate or somebody give you permission. This is just by virtue of being a woman, by your very nature, you are connected to absolutely everything, and everything that is out there is within you. And actually it's just time that has...
I know men that are witches as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not, it's certainly not saying that, men don't have access to their intuition and their magic and can't do ritual, because that's not the case at all. But this is more talking about that if we even think of like a woman's journey through womanhood, we can see it as 4 distinct seasons. When we, when people, or perhaps some men might say that their missus is a bit crazy at that time of the month and things like this, it's because she is actually 4 different women during one month, and all of this is reflected in the seasons, the moon phases, there's these 4 distinct seasons. And I think that's the thing, as women, we have a much stronger connection to that, because physiologically we're experiencing that. But absolutely within women there's a masculine and feminine energy, within men there is, within nature there is, seasons there are. But I specifically work with women because I have been on my own journey of trying to figure out who I am for such a long time. I wouldn't even know where to begin with men. so that's not my job.
I've come to that conclusion with women.
Exactly. So we'll all just stay in our lane. And pretend we're experts in the other.
Well, and it's never less than interesting, let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so here we are. It's Halloween, All Saints Day, Day of the Dead Day tomorrow. You've got a pumpkin ready for you and Holly, your daughter, to start plunging holes into a bit later on. She's at guising. So that's pretty much as traditional as it gets in Scotland, eh? Sending the young one out to do a bit of guising around.
Yeah, well, I think, there's so many things that people do and we don't actually think of the origins of how it began and where it began. But then there's so many things that we also do instinctively that are just so native to us, you know, like even when I get asked about different things like how to be a witch and what do you need to do, it's the same thing when you're in a supermarket and you're deciding what kind of tea to get and you're like, oh, I think I might go for something that's going to help me sleep, and we look to nature as, you know, the original medicine, and everybody has this within them. And I think what's really exciting is that at this time when the veil is on its thinnest, and this is a really, really powerful time right now as well, because Halloween or Samhain, it's actually landing with a new moon, which is, you know, it's rare. It's
that's interesting.
So there's this whole big energy now of endings of cycles, beginnings of cycles.
Yeah, got the harvest is all in. Everybody should be ready and getting themselves ready for the barren period of hunkering down for the winter and everything as well. But celebrating both seasons as we are right here.
And letting go of the things that didn't work out, you know, because not every harvest brings fruit. And I think that's a big part of this. It's kind of recognizing, you know, the things that didn't work out for you. What can we learn from it? Where can we let it go? And where can we, you know, this was really actually where New Year was for our ancestors.
That's right. Yeah.
So, you know, we can
so
think
this
of it
is the
as
start of a new year. We could just let it all
Absolutely.
go.
Let's just let that all go.
Yeah.
I will drink to that. So yeah, we can let that all go.
Okay, so how you been with the music then since I've seen you? It's a couple of years now, isn't it? Since
it's been a couple of years. And
I know you've been through your travails as well.
Travails. Travails. Is that like a Latin word for trials?
It's a little bit more serious than a trial.
Yeah, although, you know, I am no stranger to a trial, and I am no...
Anybody who's been following your
they all know.
Your paper.
You know, and I'm certainly no stranger to a witch hunt. But again...
Now, did you find a lot of witchy phobia when you came out of the witchy closet?
Oh my goodness. You know, I was always weird. I know
that.
Thanks, babe.
That's partly...
That's my charm.
Well, and it's a creative person's legacy, really. You have to be slightly weird.
Well, that's it. You know, you're a big thinking, big dreaming, deep feeling person. You feel everything, and that's where the music comes from. So, you know, I guess with that, you know, the path that very much feels like is unfolding for me is that there's a lot of stuff that needs to be made right.
Yeah.
Not just from my own past, but the past of the area that we're in Moray, you know, with all of the witch persecutions that happened here, women persecutions.
You know, that's where I've been for the last 2 days, looking at all of that. I went and I've driven past this hill and never noticed it thousands of times, just outside Aldown, and there's I stopped and had a look, and there's an old wooden sign that can barely see Gallows Hill, and it points up to where people have now executed all their, not just witches, but they're legitimate criminals. And there's a wood over it now, but it's still there this time of year, and there's a witch stone that I didn't know about in Forest that I went and had a look at. Absolutely. Somebody pointed it to me.
And that's beautiful that we have that on it, because, you know, like, obviously, you know that I spent a large part of my life living in Berlin, and obviously with the history that they have there, you know, Berlin, I think, in comparison to the UK, well, everything that, you know, the English have done in terms of rape, rob and pillage, we're not as forward with the history. But, you know, in Berlin, they've really taken it upon themselves to have, like, monuments and to show everything that's out there. And I think actually it's incredible that in Forest they have this witch's stone to actually acknowledge this was wrong, this was a crime, whereas there's so many places that you would go that you had no idea of the atrocities that happened. And I love the way that you said legitimate criminals, because that's the thing, these women were tried literally for just being women, you know, it's like too loud, too quiet, too fat, too thin, too sexy, too tight, whatever it was, you were getting persecuted from it. And the work that I'm doing now is helping women heal what we call these witch wounds, which is the fear of being the too much woman or the not enough woman. And, you know, it's exhausting. It's exhausting work. So instead it's just like, well, how about we just show up as we like? We have the courage to be disliked, and we just start shining our light.
Okay, so well, thanks for doing this. It's an interesting interview. Where do we find out about your Witch Society? What's the name of it again?
It's the Witchy Women's Institute.
The Witchy Women's Institute. And you meet on the Tinternet, don't you?
Yeah, so actually I hold in-person circles, so here at my home in Elgin.
You do that in person stuff.
Yeah, I've actually got a circle tomorrow night. That's happening 7 till 9, so that's for Day of the Dead, Samhain, New Moon. It's a time of ritual. We're having a cacao ceremony, and it's just a beautiful space for local witches to come together and realise that they're not.
Yeah.
And when I say witches, we mean women. Come together and have circle. And then, I've got the Moon Phase Journey Sisterhood, which is a way to work with me directly to really kind of fast track that path of healing and manifestation. Yeah. And then, and that's all online. And then the Witchy Women's Institute is kind of a hub where you can find out everything. We've got a Facebook page. But the best way to find out about all the things that I do is head to www.sophiebonadea.com.
Okay.
That's and obviously you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. And
I shall stick that up on the screen that you're watching just now. And we'll make sure that we let people know across the IMTV network. Sophie, we came together basically through the music and the love of kind of country music and Americana. I know. So how many other witches are into country music, do you think?
I'd say probably a lot.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, country sure likes Hex and their exes.
That's right.
There's I think the thing is that now we're kind of reimagining this idea of the witch not being on her broomstick and, this crazy image that we see that hopefully will be sent to the museums, like all these other images that we see that are so outdated at different peoples over time. And instead we're realising that it's women, so I'm guessing there's a lot of us.
Yeah, I reckon.
And I certainly know that a lot of my fans, they like the fact that there's this bridge between my spirituality and my music and the fact that the two intertwine.
So when we connected today, I was thinking about you, obviously, because of all the places that I'd been to, thinking that, you can't not think that we've come a long way since those times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a good positive thought.
It's amazing.
And that's a good reason for studying history in the way that I do anyway, is to see the progress of human nature through the prism of what other people and other times had to go through. So I thought, right, okay, it's Halloween. I wonder what Sophie's up to. And you come back and said, I was thinking of you as well. I was wanting to do a song live on Tinternet, and there we are over that. Thanks for joining us on this. Now, the song is a good idea. What was the song that you were talking about?
So this is a song that I had actually shared with you many a moon ago. It was post-COVID when we were all having to meet in car parks. It was all very
I remember.
Prohibition.
Yeah, it was on my birthday.
It was, and it was for Juneteenth, and we
were
singing
which I'd found out
liberation.
was when slavery was abolished, and that's what we're talking about again, the history of things and studying it. On the last slave was emancipated, American black African slave was emancipated in New Orleans on the 19th of June, and it's been adopted as Independence Day, second Independence Day of America. So I thought we'd mark that, and you came out and did the song. So tell me more about the song.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We had seagulls squawking. It was exciting.
I know. We're actually in people's company for the first time in 2 or 3 years as well, which wasn't.
So this song, obviously very much inspired by my own witch hunt and very much the uprising that comes from these situations. And I think that's such a strong message that I want to send to people. And again, through my work, is that sometimes you can just be going through the absolute worst time, and through the other side of that is rebirth. And I love that energy with the new moon right now. It's death, it's rebirth, it's endings of cycles. And this song, Rise, it is, I guess it's the persecution of witches and how we were seduced and abandoned. We were made to, I guess, we were rejected, but from that we rose up. And there's sort of my own story in there, and a story that I think will resonate with a lot of women.
Yeah. Let's have the song and then we can talk about it afterwards, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, what's the name of the song?
Rise.
Rise.
Okay. There's a whisper in the canyon. There's a bloodstain on the moon. There's a mother crying softly. Another baby's lost too soon. With a crystal lion on my chest, I hold a candle to my breast. I howl in silence on my chest as I lay thee down and close the rest. And those words never heard and never spoken. And the lies from your mouth, they pour like wine. And a fever of tears and broken. And I will fall again just so I can rise. Oh, I hope. Oh, I hope. And there is magic in the skies. There is a new moon on the rise. There is a new bird taking flight tonight, yeah. I am the dark star shining bright. I am the white lights of the night. And as the old way slowly dies, there is light, yeah. And words never heard and never spoken. And the lies from your mouth, they pour like wine. And a fever of two is ever broken. And I will fall again just so I can rise. As all that glistens turns to rust, I will leave you in the dust. And all that glistens turns to rust, and I will leave you in the dust. And those words never heard, never spoken. And the lies from your mouth, they pour like wine. And the fever of two is ever broken. And I will fall again just so I can rise. Oh, and I will fall again just so I can rise. And I will fall again just so I can rise.
Lovely.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're broadcasting live on Instagram through Sophie's Instagram page, Sophie Bonadea.
Hello.
I shall put the link up here on this broadcast as well for your Instagram page. You can watch that at your leisure. And you've got a music page, so I'll put that up as
I
well.
have indeed, yes, Sophie Bonadea Music.
So what's happening with Sophie Bonadea music at the moment?
What's happening with that? So, the Elusive album, I have been...
The Elusive, is that the name of it?
The Elusive
It could
album.
well be. It
Is, you know, in typical ADHD style, which is synonymous with my way of doing things.
Yeah, okay.
I was working on this album, and then I started writing new songs for a new album, which is called Heartbreaks and Highways.
All right.
So I've actually got 2 albums there that are kind of ready to be birthed, as it were.
Yeah.
They're being gestated. They're ready to be sent out into the world.
Okay.
I've been working with some great musicians. Mikey McClellan.
Of course,
is a big
yeah,
friend of
Mikey.
yours. Yeah, he's been very, very helpful in introducing
he's
me to a bunch of different musicians.
Multi-talented human being and musician himself anyway.
He is, yeah. So
is he on the album?
Yes, he is.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yes, he is. So,
Mikey of the Carloways fame, of course.
That's right, yeah. And he's got a new project.
He's
as
got
well.
1 or 2 new projects, yeah. He plays drums with a few bands, but he's also was up at Belladrum with Anita
Yes.
last year, and they went down a storm, so... That's a good meeting.
Recently I was talking to him and saying that he might actually just have to come here and stay for a week, and we just get it fired out. And I actually have, it's funny that I'm going to him for the discipline, but actually as soon as when we first met each other many moons ago, pre-baby, pre-war, pre-COVID and all the rest of it, I kind of hijacked the stage when he was playing at one of Eric's nights, and I jumped on and did.
Oh, I remember, I was there.
I did Need Your Love So Bad by Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and friendship.
Very cool.
From that.
Very cool. Well, that's a good meeting. So get that done then.
I will get that done. Well, I've been building the biggest coven in Moray, so now I've got this absolute.
You've got an audience as well.
I've
just a ready-made audience.
I'm ready to go. I've got this this coven of white witches behind me.
So I'm just keep my eye on the time here as well. Yeah. But I had a rumour that you were thinking of getting a house concert together.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah. I've talked to a couple of people. There's a couple of rumours going about, actually. One is that Sophie Bonadea is looking to start a band. Oh. Because I like playing with other people. Yeah. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it when I used to put on the music nights, and we'd all get together and jump in on other people's tracks. So, if there's any music, I am starting a project, but if there's any other musicians that are like, I'd actually like to jump in and do something with you, then...
Because you did some stuff with Andrew Still from the Galapagos
and Andrew Taylor as well.
Of course.
There's lots of great music friends that are there that have been supporting the journey the whole way through. Yeah. And then, the idea is that I'm going to start actually hosting music nights from my home, and I'm kind of thinking, just something informal. Back in the day, like how you'd go around to get all the instruments out, you'd just jam together.
That'd be a good excuse to get Mikey up as well, I would
absolutely
think.
I think
and other people that you're working with.
I've got so many amazing friends that are part of such a vibrant music community here, and it would be nice just to hang out.
And you know what would be even nicer? I mean, I know that your open mic nights were fabulous and everything. I was at the Bunny Beastie, the hub last night with those guys. But isn't it just a treat to play music and have a room listening, even though there might not as many people as would be at a pub?
Well, I think that's it. I've got the good fortune of having a gorgeous space here. Yeah. Luckily, I've already talked to my neighbour, and she's definitely down for it. She came to the door the other week to talk about an alarm that was going off, and I was like, while you're here, how do you fancy the idea of me having a concert upstairs? She was like, right on, let's do it. Nice. So, I think that'd be nice. So if there's any musicians that are there that are like, actually, you know what, I would love to just come around, have a beer, have a chat. And I think having it in this way that we're live streaming it like this, people get to be part of the experience, but not in this rowdy pub, which is, it's kind of a drag for musicians when you can't really chat, And
well, it's my favourite way of doing things, as you probably know. It's I kind of, as far as IMTV and Medicine Music concerned, we're there to support that kind of enterprise wherever it shows up, and hopefully I'll show up when it is. Have you got a date yet?
I keep saying on the full moon, so I mean, I guess we've got 2 weeks.
Is that how long?
I haven't determined which full moon it is, but I feel like that's.
Well, I'll still be here. I'm thinking I'll get up to Orkney for the solstice, but I'll still be here.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks if you fancy doing it.
I think so. I think that, like I said, I need the discipline. I need somebody here. All right,
we'll be back in a couple of weeks to film your house concert.
All right, let's do it.
Well, great. Cool. Well, you heard it here first.
Indeed.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thank you so
always
much.
Always a joy to see you.
Always a joy.
Always. It was great, and I loved the song.
Thank you.
What was the one that you stole the show with and Mikey again?
Oh, Need Your Love So Bad.
Go on, do that one for us.
I need the band with me. I was just there on the mic, giving it.
All right, you need the band to do that. All right, we'll come back for that at the house concert then.
Absolutely. But there will be more live music soon. So it's good to be back.
Okay, well, keep in touch with Sophie. Sophie, keep in touch with me.
I promise.
And we'll catch you at your house concert, hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Indeed.
Wonderful time.
All right, thank you.
We're out of here.